I'm going to be showing you how to recreate this twisted French roll with a top bun. First, you're going to go in and start prepping the hair with some oil. I'm using Kenra Luxe Shine Oil just to moisturize her ends. They were pretty dry and her hair was pretty frizzy around the edges and especially on the ends. So I like to start working and building in moisture in the hair. This is going to help to really make sure that the hair doesn't create frizz as the day goes on if you can build moisture into it. You're gonna take sections from the top of the head right to about center of the ear on both sides and just push that hair forward. I'm going in with a light layer of hairspray using Design Me 3-way hairspray to just smooth frizz out and give me a little bit more control. And then I'm gonna go in with my Samvia crimper, and I'm just taking very thin, small sections and crimping the base area to get extra lift and volume. And as you can see, I'm taking very thin sections, and this is really important when you are crimping the hair for volume, because thinner sections are gonna allow you to hide the crimp better. You don't wanna really see the crimp once you've finished doing this part of the style. So I'm just going about 3 to 4 inches up from the crown area. That's where you're going to get the most lift. And I'm gonna continue to work back in thin sections all the way until about the crown area. And I'm using my pink pewter comb to take my sections and just working in very small sections. And notice when I'm crimping that I am going over the same section multiple times, and it's very fast. It's not a really gripped and pressed way of doing it. I am quickly just tapping, tap, 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 tap. And that is the key when you are crimping hair to get volume. You can just see how much volume that automatically gives using the crimper, and it also gives it extra texture to hold that volume in the hair all day long. I just am adding a little bit more volume to the sides because I noticed that it needed a little bit more volume once I flip the hair back, so you can just visually look at your style to make sure that it is proportioned evenly on both sides. When you are prepping the hair with a crimper or just hair prep in general, it takes me usually no more than 10 minutes, and I recommend that you get your hair prep down to about 10 minutes at the most. Some people's hair is going to take a little bit longer to prep, and some people's hair is going to take a little bit of a shorter time. It really depends on the amount of hair you're working with and how much frizz is present in the hair, how much wave or curl or smoothing is needed. This will determine how much time that you spend prepping, but even some of the thickest and most frizziest hair I can prep in usually about 10 minutes. Now we're gonna go and curl the sides. I'm using a 1-inch curling iron, and all we are really doing here is just prepping the hair and smoothing it and give it a nice smooth shiny finish, and I'm trying to get any frizz that is present in the hair. So I'm just quickly going through and curling the hair. I'm not focused on getting a perfect curl or curling it any particular way. On each side, the hair will be curled back away from the face. As I continue to work through the hair and prep the hair, I like to use a light layer of hairspray. I'm using Design Me 3-way hairspray on the lowest setting to spray onto the hair after curling it, just to make sure that we are keeping that frizz down, but also to just start to build that texture into the hair and longevity throughout the style as we create it. When I get to curling the front pieces of the hair, I like to pull them straight out with the curling iron and start the curl about cheekbone level. This creates a nice soft face framing piece. You never want to go up really high and start the curl really close to the root area unless that's the look you're going for. But if you want a nice soft modern looking face framing piece, I always pull it out straight in the front, smooth it, that way it gives it a nice swoop, and start the curl around the cheekbone area and pull the ends a little bit straighter so it keeps it nice and soft. I am continuing to prep the hair and smooth it. I like to spray a light layer of the Design Me hairspray on the hair before curling it as well, just to really give me some texture and hold and really help those frizzy pieces almost get glued down as I apply the heat on them. Everything on this side of the hair gets curled back away from the face. And again, that front face framing piece, I pull it straight out and then start the curl about cheekbone level. That way it is nice and soft. And I'm just going back in with a little bit of the Design Me hairspray to finish it off after curling. As I move to the back, I like to comb through to make sure it's nice and smooth and spray a light layer of hairspray down the hair. Comb the hairspray down to get those frizzy pieces to lay down, start adding some shine. And now I'm gonna take a small ponytail at the top of the hair. So I'm sectioning just a small area. It's like a half rounded section in the back. And you're gonna take a little elastic band, tie this off into a little ponytail. Once you've got the ponytail secured, you can go ahead and spray a very light layer of hairspray on top and just pinch and pull out a little bit of texture and a little bit of volume right in that section. Then go ahead and clip it out of the way, and we're going to continue prepping the rest of the hair in the back. So you're going to divide the hair in vertical sections and spray a texture powder right on the part line. I'm using the Sexy Hair Powder Play Light Texture Powder. This is going to give it some grip, and then I'm just lightly and very tightly doing a tight tease into the scalp area on both sides of that vertical section. This is going to help us to create a base and create security in the overall style. That way when we start pinning the hair up, you're going to have something secure to pin it into. I'm continuing to take vertical sections all around the back of the head and repeating the same thing by pumping a little bit of this Big Sexy Hair Powder Play Light and doing a tight tease just at that root area all the way up on that vertical section on both sides. After teasing the hair and creating a secure base all across the back, we're going to continue prepping the hair, and we're just going to go through very quickly and smooth and continue to curl the hair. Again, this is all part of the prep for the hair. We are simply just trying to bring shine into the hair, eliminate frizz, and smooth it out to prepare the hair to put it up into the French twist. So I'm just very quickly going through with my 1-inch curling iron to smooth the hair. I'm not taking any particular type sections. I'm just simply making sure that the sections that I am taking are small enough that the heat can penetrate all the way through and that it can get nice and smoothed out. So there's no particular way I'm curling this. I'm curling everything in towards the head. So everything on the right side is getting curled into the middle, and then everything on the other side will get curled into the middle. As you can tell, her hair is very long, so you may need to work in sections like I'm doing here if they have longer hair. You can also use a curling wand to do this as well. You just want to make sure that whatever iron you choose will get the frizz out. And in her case, her ends were very frizzy, and I knew I needed a clamp curling iron that could clamp the hair and really smooth out those ends. So that's why I chose to use a curling iron for this style specifically. Once you finish prepping the hair, you're going to start bringing the side pieces back. This is going to create that swoop in the front, and we're going to be pinning it up. If you've ever seen the Kim Kardashian up style that everyone is talking about, you'll know what I mean about there's that poof in the top and then the way the sides come up. This is how we're going to be pinning it. So you're just going to be pinning it up on the top, and I'm using hairspray for added control in texture in the hair. And then we're going to be doing the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to be using my comb to section out the amount of hair that I want in the front, and then everything else is going to be swooped back and up on the sides. I'm adding a little bit of hairspray to tame frizz and add control. And then I'm just twisting and swooping the hair up into that and pinning it into that ponytail that we created in the beginning. And I'm just using a couple of bobby pins and crisscrossing them to secure them right there on top. Once I finish that, I'm going to spray another layer of hairspray just for additional security to smooth that frizz and keep those sides locked in place. Next, we're going to be twisting up the back, and I just like to take my wide tooth comb to comb through the curls, break them up, and make sure everything is detangled. And then I'm going in with a little bit of Osis Tame Wild Cream just to smooth frizz. This also adds moisture into the hair to help prevent frizz throughout the day, and especially on the sides and underneath the hair where people tend to have the most frizz. I like to concentrate some of the product there to really smooth frizz and add shine. And then I'm just combing it through to work it into the hair a little bit more. And then I'm using my teasing comb, which has soft bristles, to bring the hair over to the other side and really smooth it. And then go in with a little bit of hairspray to lock it in, smooth that frizz, and just continue smoothing the hair and combing it until you've got it nice and smooth. I'm then going in with some bobby pins, and I'm opening them up a little bit and pinning them straight up the hair in the center. So you want to make sure that this part, when you're pinning it exactly in the center to keep the whole style proportion once it's finished. This is going to hold all of that hair over, and you can use as many bobby pins as you need to make sure the hair is nice and tight. You're also going to be using these pins as a base to pin up the rest of the hair. Now, before creating the twist, I always like to make sure that the hair is free of tangles and we've got a nice smooth twist, and then you're just going to twist it up like so, and you can play with it to make sure that you like where it's positioned, the shape of the twist. And once you like it, you're going to grab some bobby pins, and as you can tell, I'm doing a little bit of a scooping motion, taking some of the hair, and then I'm locking it right into those bobby pins that we placed in the hair just a minute ago when we were bringing the hair over. And you can use as many bobby pins as you need to until the hair feels nice and secure. Once you have enough bobby pins in to secure it, I'm going to be taking an elastic band with a bobby pin on each side, and we're going to secure the top to make sure that it holds the hair and none of the hair starts falling out. I'm going to take a little bit of hairspray and just spray on the bottom part to make sure that it holds that part of the style, since that part is mostly complete now. Again, I'm just going through to detangle using my fork comb, and it's important to go through and make sure that your sections are detangled as you work through, because it's just going to make your style look more polished, and it'll be easier to work through if you can keep the hair detangled. And now I'm just really shaping and designing the hair the way I want it to, and I'm making sure that it's proportionate. So this part is really visual and depends on how you want the bun, how much volume you want to see from the front. And I like to almost divide that top section into halves. So take two sections and just twist it around itself and then create like a little bun on top. And for this, I wanted it to be a little bit messier, so we left some of the ends out on both sides. Once I've got the bun secured, I just like to go around and finish smoothing out any frizz around the edges and polish up the front pieces. And I'm using a little bit of air whipped taffy. This is a paste, but it has texture, so it gives the hair texture, but it helps to smooth the frizz, so it'll keep it frizz free all day long. I'm taking a little bit and placing it around the edges of the hair, because that is always one of the first things to get frizzy if it does not have the right product on it or the right amount of product. Then I'm going to finish off the front pieces by pumping a little bit of the Sexy Hair Big Powder Play Light texture powder. Any texture powder will work. You just pump it in at the roots, and then I'm teasing down at the root area underneath the hair, and then I smooth the frizz out on top of the hair and then finish it off with hairspray underneath and on top of the section to fan it out and just shape it to nicely frame my client's face. I'm doing the same thing on the other side. I'm taking the Powder Play Light texture powder, teasing it, and then spraying it to lock it in and just smooth it out. And then you can use your hairspray to fan it out and shape it however you see fit. If you try this look, be sure to tag me on Instagram at megan.lorson so I can see your beautiful work, or share it in our private Facebook group for the Bridal Society.